What's up, Kingdom? Tyler Jones here with you on Total Chiefs, and today we are diving into Mel Kiper Jr.'s official grade for the Chiefs 2025 NFL Draft Class. Quick reminder before we get rolling. If you have not yet subscribed, make sure you hit that button and turn on notifications. We have new Chiefs content for you every single day. All right, let's get into it. Mel Kiper, one of the most respected draft analysts out there, gave the Chiefs a B+ for their 2025 draft performance. Honestly, I thought Brett Veach deserved an A for the work he pulled off. But once you hear Mel's breakdown, you can understand where he is coming from. According to Kiper, heading into the draft, Kansas City had some clear needs: offensive tackle, defensive tackle, running back, tight end. The way Mel put it, the Chiefs absolutely had to come away from the first 2 days of the draft with real upgrades, especially along the offensive line. He pointed back to our Super Bowl loss against the Eagles, where protecting Mahomes was a major issue. He is not wrong. Mel also mentioned that while the Chiefs signed Jalen Moore in free agency to play left tackle, Moore was a backup last year. On the right side, Jawan Taylor is still not fully living up to expectations. Add in the fact that Joe Thuney was traded to the Bears this offseason, and there was no question. Bolstering the offensive line had to be the top priority. And credit to Brett Veach, because even sitting at pick 31, he found a way to bring in high-end talent. He traded back a few spots, picked up an extra 5th rounder, and still landed Josh Simmons from Ohio State. Simmons is a guy who, without the knee injury, would have been considered a top 15 prospect. Mel even had Simmons ranked as his 15th overall player on his big board. To grab him at the end of the first round was incredible value. Now I want to hear from you. Do you agree with Mel Kiper's B+ grade for the Chiefs? Type Y for yes or N for no in the comments section. Stick around, because up next, we are breaking down the entire Chiefs draft class pick by pick. And trust me, there are a lot of names you are going to want to know about. All right, Kingdom. Now that we know Mel Kiper's overall grade, let's dive into the Chiefs 2025 draft class pick by pick. Brett Veach once again showed why he is one of the best general managers in the NFL. First round, pick 34, Josh Simmons, OT, Ohio State. As we talked about earlier, Simmons was an absolute steal. Even though he dropped because of that minor knee concern, all signs point to a full recovery before training camp. This kid is a mauler in the run game and a brick wall in pass protection. Veach needed a franchise tackle to protect Mahomes for years to come, and Simmons fits the bill. Second round, pick 62, Keon Coleman, WR. Florida State Chiefs fans, you are going to love Keon Coleman. This guy is a physical, high-point catcher with huge upside. We all saw how much the offense missed a big-bodied receiver. Last year, Coleman brings that Anquan Boldin-type presence. Defenses are going to have a nightmare trying to deal with him alongside Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown. Third round, pick 95, Braden Fisk, DT, Florida State back-to-back Seminoles. Fisk is a high-energy interior defensive lineman who has a motor that never stops. He is going to fit right into Steve Spagnuolo's system, rotating in with Chris Jones and Derek Noddy. Spags loves guys like this, relentless, aggressive, and smart. Fourth round, pick 131, Jaheim Bell, TE, Florida State. Yes, another Seminole. Jaheim Bell is a hybrid tight end who can line up in the slot, the backfield, or as a traditional tight end. With Travis Kelce getting older, the Chiefs needed to start grooming the next guy. Bell is not Kelce. Nobody is. But he is a dynamic weapon who can create mismatches all over the field. Fifth round, pick 159, Kyrie Jackson, CB, Oregon length. Physicality, ball skills. Kyrie Jackson brings all of it. The Chiefs secondary already has a lot of young talent, but Jackson adds even more depth. Plus, he is a special teams ace, which will get him on the field right away. Sixth round, pick 207, Frank Gore Jr., RB, Southern Miss, yes, that Frank Gore. His son is now a Chief. Frank Gore Jr. is a hard-nosed, downhill runner who plays with the same toughness his dad was known for. He is not flashy, but he gets the tough yards. Expect him to compete for that third running back spot behind Isaiah Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. When you look at the full draft class, it is clear that the Chiefs addressed major needs, found great value, and added versatile athletes across the board. Quick poll for you. Which pick are you most excited about? Drop the player's name in the comments. Coming up next, we are talking about the biggest steal of the entire draft, and spoiler alert, it is a player the Chiefs got later than expected. Now, Chiefs Kingdom, every year there's that one pick where you just sit back and say, how did he fall to us? This year, that pick is without a doubt Keon Coleman in the second round. Let's be honest, a lot of mock drafts had Keon Coleman going late in the first round. Some experts even had him ranked as the second or third best wide receiver in the entire draft class. And yet, there he was, sitting on the board at pick 62. Brett Veach didn't hesitate. He pounced. Coleman brings exactly what the Chiefs needed after a frustrating 2024 season for the offense. He is a 6'4", 215-pound physical beast with strong hands, excellent body control, and a rare ability to high-point the football. We are talking about a true X-receiver who can dominate one-on-one matchups, win contested catches, and be that reliable 3rd and 8 guy that Patrick Mahomes can trust. Why did he fall? There were whispers about some inconsistencies in separation against elite college corners, and maybe he didn't run the fastest 40 time at the combine. But honestly, when you watch the tape, none of that matters. He plays bigger and faster than the numbers suggest, and he competes on every snap. The Chiefs are betting on their system and Mahomes' elite ball placement to maximize Coleman's strengths. Plus, with Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown stretching defenses horizontally, Coleman is going to get a lot of favorable matchups outside. Remember how much Mahomes loved having Sammy Watkins during that 2019 Super Bowl run? Coleman could be that, but younger, healthier, and with even more upside. And don't underestimate how important this is. With Travis Kelce entering the twilight of his Hall of Fame career, the Chiefs need more weapons who can dominate in the red zone. Coleman instantly makes the Chiefs' offense more dangerous inside the 20-yard line. If Coleman hits, and it sure looks like he will, this could go down as one of Brett Veach's best value picks ever. Quick question for you. How many touchdowns do you think Keon Coleman will score as a rookie? Drop your predictions in the comments. I want to see if you're feeling bold. Up next, we'll talk about the biggest risk of this draft class and why the Chiefs might have rolled the dice a little more than usual this year. Every draft has its fair share of gambles, and the Chiefs were no exception this year. If you're looking for the pick that raised the most eyebrows, it's got to be the selection of Isaiah Jacobs, the cornerback out of Coastal Carolina, in the 3rd round. Now, don't get me wrong. Jacobs has serious talent. He's a long, athletic corner with fluid hips and good ball skills. He's exactly the type of defensive back that Steve Spagnuolo loves. Aggressive, physical, and confident. On paper, it makes sense. But here's the concern. Jacobs comes with some red flags. First, he's relatively inexperienced, with only 14 starts in college. Second, there are some questions about his discipline. He was flagged for a lot of penalties, particularly holding and pass interference calls. And there are scouts who worried about how he'd hold up against NFL-caliber receivers. Drafting him in the 3rd round shows the Chiefs believe they can coach him up, and honestly, they have a great track record of doing exactly that. Just look at how they developed L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie. If Jacobs buys into the culture and refines his technique, he has the tools to be a high-end starter. But, and it's a big but, there's real risk here. If he doesn't improve his discipline, he could struggle to see the field, especially on a defense that relies on tight man coverage and complex zone concepts. In some ways, this pick feels a little bit like a swing for the fences. The Chiefs are betting on their coaching staff to turn raw talent into production, which they've done before. But it's not a sure thing. and that's what makes this pick the riskiest of their 2025 draft class. Still, you have to respect the strategy. When you're picking late in rounds, sometimes you have to take risks on upside players if you want to stay ahead of the competition. Playing it safe rarely wins championships. Let's throw it to the comments. Do you think Isaiah Jacobs will develop into a starter by year 2? Give me a yes or no down below. I'm really curious where Chiefs Kingdom stands on this one. All right, coming up next, we'll wrap things up with a full draft grade and final thoughts on what this new rookie class means for the Chiefs' Super Bowl hopes. After all the picks, all the analysis, and all the hype, it's time to step back and give a final grade for the Chiefs' 2025 NFL draft class. Overall, Kansas City played it smart. They didn't reach for needs. They trusted their board. They made targeted, strategic moves that filled holes without sacrificing value. When you're sitting at the back of every round, like the Chiefs are because they keep winning, you have to be sharp, and Brett Veach and his team were just that. Starting with the first-round pick, grabbing a top-end wide receiver for Mahomes was absolutely essential. Locking down a dynamic playmaker who can contribute right away keeps the offense dangerous and unpredictable. That alone makes this draft a win. Then you look at the trenches. The Chiefs invested in both sides of the ball, building depth on the offensive and defensive lines. They understand that championships are won up front. That's how you protect your quarterback and disrupt the other teams. And yes, there were some risks, especially with the gamble on Isaiah Jacobs. But honestly, that's part of the business. You can't build a dynasty by playing it safe. The Chiefs took calculated risks on players with upside, and they have a coaching staff known for developing talent. The late-round picks were no throwaways either. Kansas City added contributors who might not start immediately, but have the traits to become valuable pieces over time. Special teams, depth roles, rotational players, those are critical parts of a championship team. When you put it all together, the Chiefs' 2025 draft class looks like another step towards sustaining greatness. Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones, they won't be around forever. This class is part of the next wave that will carry the torch when the current legends eventually move on. So, if I'm handing out a grade for this draft, I'm giving the Chiefs an A. It's not perfect, there's always risk, but they addressed needs, added athleticism, and bet on their proven development pipeline. That's how dynasties stay dynasties. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. What grade would you give the Chiefs for this draft? Drop your letter grade in the comments, A, B, C, whatever you think, and tell me why. Let's debate it out like real Chiefs fans. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button and don't miss all the latest Chiefs coverage coming your way. Until next time, Chiefs Kingdom, stay loud, stay proud, and go Chiefs!